How can we begin to make a living in music? My name's Jacob Smario, and I own English Oak Recording, a recording studio based here in Virginia. And for the past 7 years, I've been navigating the ups and downs of owning a recording studio and being a part of the music industry. I've also been a touring musician, playing over 100 shows all across the United States. To begin making a living in music, we need to solve the biggest problem of being an artist. But this is actually where we can make our biggest mistake. To begin making a living in music, we need to solve the biggest problem of being an artist, connecting new listeners to your music. And if we look at the data, social media is an incredibly effective tool that allows us to expose more people to your music or to the thing that you want them to see. Let's take a minute to look at the reach or the exposure that my studio gets on Instagram so you can have a point of reference. All right, so I've got our Instagram pulled up, and at the time of filming this, we get about 350,000 views every 30 days. And when we dive a little bit deeper, if we look at long-term, how many impressions we're getting 1 million views in 90 days. 1 million new people have heard about my studio. And that blows my mind, honestly, because I can't even imagine how much money that would cost in ads for that type of reach. And that's why I would encourage you, if you're an artist, to begin posting on social media. You're gonna reach so many new people that are just gonna learn about who you are and what you do, whether you're an artist or you're a producer. Now, I wanna address the elephant in the room. I'm sure there are a few of you that are gonna say, I don't have a studio like yours, I don't have lights, I don't have a camera, this or that. You might also just say, I'm lucky and it was a one-time event, a one-hit wonder type of situation. But what's interesting about that data is that's actually the second time I've seen that happen. My neighbor is the one who encouraged me to start posting every single day, which allowed me to get the numbers like we just saw. And you'd be surprised, his numbers way outperform mine, and he does it all with just an iPhone. So use the tools that you have right in front of you and find your unique advantage and lean into it. Everyone's gonna have a different starting point, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't start. As an artist, the problem you're always solving is how do we connect new listeners to what you're doing? And I call this space in between the path, and that's really the most important part. But this is actually where we can make our biggest mistake. Whenever we release music on social media, we tend to send our audience to Spotify. Now, here's the problem with that. Spotify is an exposure-based platform, similar to Instagram. We're on these platforms in hopes that we'll find a new audience. Many artists join Spotify because they want to get on an editorial playlist and get sent out to a massive audience of people that are kind of in the genre that they're expecting for that playlist. But the biggest problem is when you finally do get that recognition on Spotify, you have no way to connect with that audience. Whereas on Instagram, you can find new people, reach a new audience, connect with them via comments, messages, new posts, and it doesn't mind if we move them off platform. We know that because often we'll send them from social media to Spotify. So instead of sending them to Spotify, I would recommend sending them to your website. And that's because you can do a lot of different things with a website. For example, on my website, I have a contact form where you can reach me and I can help you produce or mix your song. I've also got a section where I sell a tool called the Songwriter's Toolkit. It's a tool that's designed to help you start writing better songs. We're close to 100 copies sold of the Songwriter's Toolkit, and when you pick one up, it supports me and the work I do here at the studio, so I can continue to make videos like this for you. And if I'm able to do that with my website, the world is your oyster if you're an artist. And artists can do a lot of things with their website. They can sell merch, concert tickets, or even their music. There's a lot of possibilities when it comes to creating a website and an environment for your audience to hang out on. So, where does Spotify go in this path? Well, if you wanted to, you could remove it altogether. But I think a lot of people are afraid of removing Spotify from their life. So instead, I think we need to reframe what Spotify means. We need to give Spotify less importance in our life. And instead, we can direct our audience to Spotify once they've gone to our website. And if our listeners get to Spotify through our website, that's totally fine, because they know if they want to connect with us, they can just walk backwards, because our website is really a mirror of who we are. I believe that it's time that we as artists start to think about what type of digital experiences can we build for our audience on our website, on a platform that we control. Because a lot of being an artist is being on platforms that we really don't have control of. And it's once we remove this algorithm that we get to freely express ourselves and our art and create a world that we want to see. Because at the end of the day, these things are just part of the path. The real thing that we need to focus on expressing is who we are. And once we're able to bridge the gap between our audience and what we do, that's when we can start to make a living as artists.